What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Top Rope here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. I am your host, Mike Mayer. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. 1,600 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Big weekend in professional wrestling, so honored and thrilled to be, bringing you some predictions here for Evolution, a historic event for the first time in nearly 7 years to the day. They did it in October. I think they did it in October of 2018, and here we are in 2025. We're finally doing it. Some of the build was a little bit, misdone a little bit, I guess you could say. I would have liked for them to give it more of a spotlight. It feels like the women, even though some of these storylines have been marinating for a while, it feels like this was kind of pushed to the forefront because they really wanted to combat All In Texas weekend. Specifically, obviously the Mercedes Moné Toni Storm match is going to be big for women's wrestling. So this is going to be a big show. A lot of compelling matchups here on this card. I do think it was thrown together a little bit. So let's start off with the Battle Royal. Winner gets a title match at Clash in Paris. I'm coming to basically two options here as realistic winners for this match. One is Stephanie Vaquer, and the other is Nikki Bella. I will go with Stephanie Vaquer here, but I would not be shocked in the slightest if Nikki Bella won this match. And she got a title match against whoever wins Rhea, and I won't spoil it for you yet. Whoever wins Rhea and Iyo, we'll get there at the end because that's good. That's the announced main event. At least that's what it looks like. So I'll go with Stephanie Vaquer in this spot because I think her getting a big win here would mean a lot for her. What sucks is if she gets the title match, I don't know if she's going to win the championship. So that's going to be something interesting to monitor. Then let's go to what I think should open the show. I thought it had a case to be the main event, but it being for the Intercontinental Championship, it didn't really have a path for it. So it's Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Lyra Valkyria. To me, this is the best built story of the entire card because long term they've just invested so much time in this thing since WrestleMania. It's been really well executed. I'm going to say Becky retains the title here. I think she's absolutely elevated Lyra, and Becky's doing some of the best work of her career. Bayley's doing some of the best work of her career. These three women have friggin' killed it. Like, this has been an exceptional build to this match. But I'll say Becky retains. She just won the championship at Money in the Bank, so she's only had it for a month. I think there's more to be gained with her keeping that title. Then Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. I've seen a lot of people suggesting that Naomi should win this match. I love Naomi. I think Naomi's going to be a world champion at some point this year. There is no logical way that Naomi can win this match against Jade Cargill. None. There is no case whatsoever. I don't even care if Bianca Belair comes back and helps her, or Lash Legend debuts to help Naomi and be her new bodyguard. It makes zero sense. Just because she's the women's Money in the Bank contract holder doesn't mean that she needs to win. Jade Cargill has a women's championship match in 3 weeks at SummerSlam. You're going to have Jade Cargill lose a match. You're going to have Jade Cargill lose a match to Naomi just so Naomi could get her win back. I don't care. Jade Cargill is going to win this match, whether you like it or not. Naomi is going to get her revenge back on Jade at some point to get the championship. I don't think it's going to be on this show. There's a case to be made that it could. I would expect it to potentially happen at SummerSlam when Jade becomes the women's champion, or, Naomi gets in there, makes it a triple threat with whoever wins the women's championship match. And let's just get into that right now. Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton, really just a lazy build. Tiffany Stratton has had a horrendous title run, and it's not even her fault. The booking for women's champions in this company, if you are world champions, has been an atrocity. It has really been an atrocity. Iyo Sky, I have no fucking idea what they've done with her. So this is lazy. I love Trish. Trish even went on record saying that this was horrible. Tiffany's had no real rivalry. She had one match with Bayley. And she's faced Nia Jax a ton. And then she beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. So the basis of the match is beating another legend. Tiffany is going to win. Tiffany is going to beat Trish Stratus. And you know what? Honestly, I would not be surprised if this is the best match that Tiffany has in her entire run in WWE, on the main roster. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Trish carried Tiffany. And Tiffany has become a really good wrestler. But the Charlotte match was kind of clunky. The Nia Jax matches were okay. Bayley matches. But I think this is going to be, and maybe Tiffany resorts to some heel tactics. to, get some heat on her, because I think they need to do something to adjust it, because the babyface element of Tiffany is just not working. Like, everybody loves saying Tiffy time and chanting it, but her as a babyface just does not work. She's a mean girl. That's what it is. So Tiffany's going to win this match. Just like I said, for a women's championship match, it feels really irrelevant, and it's really a shame. It's just lazy. The NXT Women's Championship match, JC Jane defending against Jordan Grace. I don't know if this is actually true, or if maybe, TNA is revealing a red herring, but there was footage, and I don't know if this is people messing with the internet, but JC Jane was on a TNA taping, and I don't know if they taped their content or if this was just people just messing with people online. JC Jane had that NXT championship, because mind you, whoever the NXT Women's Champion is going to face Masha Slamovich, the TNA Knockouts champion, at Slammiversary in a week's time on Sunday. I think it's Sunday the 20th. So literally a week later. So JC Jane could retain. From what I have seen, at least, and I don't know what to make of this internet chatter that's been going on. I'm going to say Jordan Grace wins. She's taken a bunch of big losses. And, Jordan Grace is seemingly setting up some sort of an alliance with Blake Monroe, the former Mariah May. So it would make a ton of sense for me if Jordan Grace won here, and then, potentially has the unification thing with Masha, or the title for title match with Masha Slamovich. And, Jordan obviously having the history with TNA makes a ton of sense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see JC Jane win, with a bunch of interference. But, considering what they've laid the groundwork for with this whole, buddy thing with Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, and, Jordan Grace's history, it just makes a little bit more sense for me. And Jordan's just taken a bunch of big losses lately. So I think this is her crowning moment at Evolution. It's really cool that she's a part of the show. So then we get to the women's tag team championships. You got Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne obviously filling in for Liv Morgan. I don't know if this was actually going to be the plan before, Liv got hurt. So then Roxanne and Raquel are taking on Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, which is a great team. Sol Ruca and Zarya. By the way, Sol Ruca looked freaking incredible in her first real main roster exposure. I understand that she's done Speed, but SmackDown is a different beast than Speed. So it's Judgment. So it's Raquel and Roxanne, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Sol Ruca and Zarya, and the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Now, prior to SmackDown, I would have said, not a whole lot of conviction, but I would have said Charlotte and Alexa are winning this match. But Alexa won the Fatal 4-Way with one member of each team. What that tells me, and usually if you go into a go-home show, usually the team that goes over on the go-home is not winning. And it sucks, because I think there's a lot to be gained potentially from Charlotte and Alexa potentially winning the tag team championships, but they could potentially build to it. So I think Raquel and Roxanne are going to retain here to just hang on to them for a while. It also validates Roxanne joining the group so they can keep the titles with them. They'll find a way out of this. And then, I think at some point Charlotte and Alexa can challenge again and ultimately win. Maybe they do it at SummerSlam. Maybe that's where they do it. I mean, because listen, you can stretch this out, but I think that it'll be a nice showcase for Sol Ruca and Zarya. Asuka and Kairi it's obviously great to see them together. This should be a fun little match. And I've been really, really entertained with what they've been doing with Charlotte and Alexa. It's some of the best work of Charlotte's career, because it actually makes her look like a real human being and not like, just the queen, which is just, hey, somebody who wins all the championships. So, and then the main event, Iyo Sky defending against Rhea Ripley. A lot of people are dreading this. I thought that there was a small possibility maybe that Iyo could retain. It's been a horrendously booked title run. I don't know what the fuck Triple H is doing. I think obviously the Liv element, her getting hurt didn't help the situation. Bianca also getting hurt didn't help the situation. Rhea Ripley's winning this match. Like, she's the face of this division. She's one of the faces of WWE, whether you guys like her or not. Don't call her Rhea Hogan. She does not have creative control. She does not have creative power. Like, Triple H loves this woman. Almost akin to what Chyna was back in the day. Like, Rhea Ripley gets some of the best reactions crowd-wise in the entire WWE. I love Iyo Sky to death. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. I honestly think that, hey, she loses this. I think her and Becky Lynch, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. That's a hell of an idea. Um, it sucks that Iyo did not get the proper respect for this title run because she is one of the best wrestlers in the entire world. But they had no plan for her coming out of that match at WrestleMania, which is a shame because it's one of the best women's matches of all time. But Rhea's winning. Rhea is winning the championship. This is closing the show. She's the face of this division. All due respect to Iyo. It's happening. I hate to break it to you guys. That's what's happening at Evolution. So, kind of a lackluster build, but they had stories on the table there. I think this should be a pretty good show on Sunday. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.